time, I'd like to call this regular meeting of the Board of County Commissioners to order, Monday, July the 11th. If you'll please stand for the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, as we come to you today, we'd like to thank you for all your many blessings. We'd like to thank you for allowing us to be here today. We appreciate that you've given us guidance and wisdom as we make decisions concerning our county and the people and the residents of our county. We ask that you would give us safe travels on the way home, and it's in your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
The flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Are there any additions, corrections to the agenda? Anything? And I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve.
All right. Second.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comments? There are none. Let's skip over that. Comments from the commissioners and the manager. I'll start down here with Commissioner Morris.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Just welcome everybody, the small crowd we have today in the chambers, but hopefully more folks watching online. We appreciate your interest and participation in our local government. That's all I have.
All right. Commissioner Nicholson.
Good to see everybody. Hope you have safe travel back home, and glad you're here.
All right. Commissioner Mendenhall.
Good to see everybody. It's good to see everybody again in person. Missed seeing everybody's faces. I can hear you on the phone, hear your voices, but it's a lot better when I can be here and see you. So thank you for coming out tonight, and I hope you get something out of our meeting. And just want to say thank you once again to the good Lord for letting me be here tonight. Thank you.
All right. And again, I'd like to welcome everybody and thank you for being here and watching online. And we're glad to have Commissioner Mendenhall back with us in person. We just had a lot of rain and a beautiful day today out there, and love the summer, and hope everybody enjoys the rest of these summer days we have. Shannon?
Thanks everybody for being here. I want to make sure to thank all of our local communities that put on so many nice 4th of July festivals around our Stokes County. For a small county, we have 3 really nice big fireworks displays. A big one in Lawsonville now, a big one in Monaco always at Lions Park, and then King. We attended all 3 of those as our family, and it's just nice to have that to go to in a small community like ours. So thanks for the folks that put that on, the hard work that goes into those. And other than that, we can move on. Thank you.
All right. Before moving any further, does any board member have a conflict of interest with any of the items on the agenda for tonight, or one that could be perceived as a conflict of interest?
Nope.
All right.
Madam Chair, I believe it was in a consent. I talked to our attorney since it can be perceived as one. There's something that involved my dad, but I was talking to our attorney. He said since it's not a direct, any kind of value or gain from me, it was not a conflict.
Okay. All right. Got that cleared up. All right. We'll move on to the consent agenda, which are the minutes, the budget amendments, and the tax items for approval.
Motion to approve.
All right. Second.
One second.
All those in favor?
I have one question, Madam Chair.
Yes, go ahead. Sorry.
Shannon, is this big budget amendment, is that like a cleanup, basically?
So on June 30th, when the last year's budget ends, everything's pretty much, the budgets are all over, everything dumps in the general fund per se. So this is reallocating those funds back into those budgets where things were back ordered, things didn't happen, like we had an ambulance that we had in the budget that we didn't get to pay for last year because it's back ordered.
Okay.
So there's things like that that are in those budgets, that all those money, that the money's encumbered, but it's had to be put back into those budgets for this fiscal year.
Okay, got it.
So,
That's all I have,
so
Madam Chair.
really didn't want to have anything on this meeting, but we have to put those on here to try to put
Yeah.
that money back in the budget.
All right.
You're up to 2 budget amendments
I
now.
know, I don't want to. Linda said we have to do that when tracing, so, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's all I have.
All right. And I had a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, no opposed. We'll move on to the discussion agenda, the tax office agenda, And I did hear from Wayne, and he is on a wreck scene where the road's closed and they had hazmat to come in, so that's why he's not here.
Good
Go ahead,
evening.
sorry.
That's okay. Good evening. I'm here this evening to talk about the annual settlement that we do each year this time of the year. Tax office had another great year in collections. We collected on the school operating in the general county, $25,238,634, surpassing the budget amount by nearly $550,000. So these next pages 2 through 10, while I was reviewing the report, I discovered some issues with internal reports on our Farragut system that are used to compile the information, some of the information on pages 2 through 10 of the report that you have in front of you. Unfortunately, Farragut was unable to resolve these issues with the configuration before the meeting today. So I will supply the board with updated information on the July 25th meeting on those particular pages. So the next 2 pages are our monthly collections report that is broke down by tax districts. And then on the next page, all the prior year collection information. So if we move on to our next page there that's titled Annual Settlement, indicates the tax office has delivered all prepayment of taxes to the Stokes County Chief Accounting Officer in the amount of $93,922.21. On the back page of this report, you will see back in February of 2022, the 2021 delinquent taxes were delivered to you guys, and it showed there were 3,418 delinquent real property accounts that totaled $1,489,973.02. Since then, and as of July 1 of 2022, that's been decreased down to 1,339 bills with an amount of $499,712.18 due. The next page is a spreadsheet of all the delinquent taxes broken down by property type and tax district. The next item you'll find on the report is, the next 2 pages, is our insolvents for real property. In this year's settlement, you'll find 7 accounts that are insolvent. All 7 of these properties were county-owned surplus properties that we sold during the last fiscal year, and we'll just need to write those off as insolvent. But they are back on the books now, and we will be collecting taxes on those properties for this year. The next page shows there's no personal property insolvents to report. The next page is the personal property collections broke down by tax district. And then moving right along, we've got the resolution that orders the insolvent amount for 2021 be ordered into the minutes. Orders the tax liens for 2021 property taxes for the purpose of collection be recharged to the tax administrator. Orders that the settlement for delinquent prior year taxes be entered into the minutes, and the uncollected balance of said taxes be recharged to the Stokes County Tax Administrator. And then the last thing in this is the 2021 property tax settlement by the Stokes County Tax Administrator be acceptance in accordance with North Carolina General Statute 105-373. And the final item I have, and probably the most important, is the charge to collect order for fiscal year 2022-23. This authorizes the tax administrator to collect the current annual property taxes for all taxing districts, including the county, fire districts, and municipalities. I'm requesting the annual settlement resolution for fiscal year 21-22 and the order to collect for fiscal year 22-23 be placed on the July 25th consent agenda. This will allow for the bills to be mailed out approximately on Thursday, July 28th, giving the taxpayers of Stokes County the entire month of August to take advantage of the 2% discount that the board grants to the citizens of the county. I also would like to share this information I got today from talking with the Department of Revenue. I called them today just to ask about our public utility values, because we've been very blessed here in Stokes County for the last several years, those values to tick up every year. And looking back at history, you know, that at some point they will come down a little bit. But in talking to George with the Department of Revenue, he doesn't feel like it's going to happen. Those values will be delivered to us on September 1. He can't say, but tentatively he says that Stokes County should fare well in this and possibly see a little increase, especially from Duke. They had a good year. And the last item I've got is today Greg in our GIS department received a call from the state saying that the 2022 aerial maps, the aerial photography that was flown back in February, that we should be getting a digital copy of that this week to start reviewing. If we see anything wrong, we'll report that back to the state. But those maps should be made available to put on our website in the early fourth quarter of 2022. And the best part of these maps is they're free to the county. They're paid for by the E911. So that's all I have, Madam Chairman.
All right. Board members have questions about the tax report?
Does the charge collect thing need to be on action today, or?
No, sir, because it'll be approved on the 25th, and we don't plan on mailing out to the 28th. We've actually, today, our bills
Okay.
are online. We looked at them. They look good. Didn't see any issues. We're going to get that file to South Data tomorrow. They'll probably have us some proofs by the end of the week, and we'll study over those proofs because they've had some changeover down at Farragut, but feel confident that the folks they have in there can do the job for us, but we're really going to scrutinize those bills before they go out, especially with the dogs being took off and some of the other things, just to make sure that, we don't have any errors. Hopefully we can catch everything. If something widespread, we should be able to catch it.
Sounds good.
Any other questions?
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, good
Thank you.
report. Thanks.
Report.
All right. Next item is B, and it's the recording of closed sessions. I think attached to that is the opinion of the School of Government that Amber, I think, requested and got back. So I'll open the floor for discussion.
I'll just give you my opinion on it. I think what I would like to see us do is start recording the closed sessions, and then have Amber do detailed minutes from those recordings, and then destroy the recordings, and get away from the summary minutes that I think we're currently doing summary minutes still, right? Yeah, and so do detailed minutes based on what's on the recording, and start, making as much as possible available to the public whenever it doesn't frustrate the purpose of the closed session.
Yeah, based on this opinion from the School of Government, it seems like that's what they recommend, that you could record them. Would it make a difference if we audio recorded them or videotaped them? The school board, like I said, when I was on the school board, we audio recorded them to use for the minutes and then destroyed them.
I see no advantage in video over audio.
I think just so she has a record to get, but I agree with what you're saying. I'm fine with more detail instead of the summary. Minutes is whatever is recommended, by council. That is, I think in the past, I think your advice was to keep them pretty vague, but if you think it's fine to do a more detailed account and stay within the parameters of what we're supposed to.
Well, if that's the board's wishes, that's fine with me. If you want to make it, you can make it as detailed as you want. What's required, if you take any action, then you're required to have actual minutes to reflect the action taken, which there's very little action taken in closed session. But you're required to keep a general account to notify the public of what was discussed. As long as you inform the public of what was discussed, then that satisfies the general account requirement. So if you want to be more specific, then that's up to you.
Well, as far as like personnel issues that are discussed in closed session, how much detail could you actually even put on that?
Most of those you never release, do you?
Personnel minutes,
Can't,
that will never be released.
right. I know you can't release names and things, but you just, you just have to say a personnel issue was discussed.
Well, I mean, you can be more specific in the minutes, but you just wouldn't be able to release them.
I gotcha. That's kind of like two different things, like the minutes versus
It is.
what you can release to the public.
Closed session minutes is for your benefit, but it's not released to the public as long as it doesn't frustrate the reason for closed session.
I gotcha.
And that's, well, that's illustrated when you're discussing possibly land acquisition.
Right.
Things like that. And once you actually acquire the land, then there's no reason not to release those.
I gotcha. That makes sense.
I just want to make sure that the public knows as much as possible about what we talked about without frustrating the purpose of the closed session.
Okay. Any other comments on that?
I mean, I do agree with it. It'd been nice to have this back in 2018 in place, but still sounds like it ain't much you can still release out there. Am I correct on that?
Well, personnel, there's not.
Right, personnel's not. And property purchase is gonna be known anyway whenever you go take a vote.
Right.
But any other issues that are out there, what about that?
Well, it just depends on the nature. Confidential information, unless, that you wouldn't be able to release that unless something happened that it was no longer confidential. If it became public information, then you could release something like that. That's why it's confidential. You just have to look at it on a case-by-case basis. Whether or not there still exists a reason to keep it, the minutes closed. There's no reason that you release them. That's something that you would decide before they're released to the public.
So do you want to move this to action? Do we need, is this something we need to take action on, Ty? If we want to change? What?
Today, you mean?
Let's move it
Well,
there.
yeah, you'll need to vote on it.
Yeah, move it to action for the next meeting.
Next meeting, yeah.
Okay, all right. Sounds good. Okay, moving on. The Danbury Planning Board ETJ appointment.
Mr. Donnie Mabe's term on the Danbury Planning and Zoning ETJ Board expires on October 15th of this year. He would like to go ahead and be considered for reappointment for another 3-year term to this board.
Okay, I'll open the floor for any further nominations.
Motion we close nominations.
Second.
Okay. Is there a motion to nominate Donnie Mabe?
I'll make a motion to nominate Donnie.
Okay, all right, and then you said you closed the floor for any others.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, second.
I say.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
Action next meeting.
next action, next meeting. Okay. All right, then that takes us to action and the Voluntary Agriculture District's board appointments. At the last meeting, the board nominated Joshua Francis and Sloan McPeak to the Voluntary Agricultural District Advisory Board. I'll open the floor for any further nominations.
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll poll the board, and it's for Francis and McPeak.
And it is for 2 spots.
2
right?
spots. Yeah, you,
Makes it pretty easy.
yeah. Francis
Francis and McPeak.
Francis McPeak.
Francis and McPeak.
and McPeak. All right. The second item is moratorium extension of the large-scale solar farms. I have a motion to maintain the moratorium extension.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I say.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Nope. Okay, the next third, JCPC appointment request. At the last meeting, the board nominated Jordan Boyette, Stacey Elms, Joe Rick, Terry Fowler, Tamara Vite, Zach Barth for reappointment to the Stokes County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council. I'll open the floor for any further nominations.
Motion to close.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And when I'll pull the board, the list as presented. Say list as presented.
List as presented.
List as presented.
Okay, list as presented. All right. That's a lot of names. Okay. Item D, Planning Board appointment request. At the last meeting, the board nominated Shannon Taylor Stanley and Gary Simmons to the Planning Board. There are 2 slots, right? That we're filling.
I apologize, that should be Mark Sizemore.
I was about to say, I think we
Yeah,
have a
that's-
Mark Sizemore application.
I apologize, that's my fault.
Okay.
There
Mark,
is 2 slots.
okay. Mark Sizemore and Shannon Taylor Stanley? Okay, I got you. All right, so I'll open the floor for any further nominations.
Motion to close nominations.
All those in favor?
Aye.
I'll pull the board, and it's Sizemore and Stanley.
Sizemore and Stanley.
Sizemore and Stanley.
Osborne Stanley.
Sizemore and Stanley. Okay. Is that it?
The motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Might be fastest ever.